asking for congressional approval. And some Democrats are vowing to push back. Joining us now is California Democratic Senator Adam Schiff. Senator, so glad to have you on the program. Obviously, the president authorized these strikes again against Iran last night. He says that they have been successful. Do you see any upside, any positive news for the security of the world in learning of the success of these strikes?
First of all, Casey, I want to express my gratitude that the pilots are all out safely and acknowledge the skill, the bravery, and the professionalism of all the military forces that were engaged in this military operation. But it's not an operation that should have ever been authorized by the president in the absence of intelligence showing that Iran had made the decision to break out and build a bomb. The intelligence I've seen, and it's been limited, indicates that Iran had certainly enriched uranium but had not made the decision to build a bomb or pursue the mechanism of a bomb. And in the absence of that, this is not a strike that should have been ordered. In watching Hegseth during that press conference this morning, we saw a lot of arrogance from the defense secretary. And as wars in the Middle East have demonstrated, arrogance is a deadly commodity. We simply don't know what is going to occur now, whether Iran will retaliate, whether Iran was able to evacuate some of the enriched material from Fordo. There were commercial satellite images of trucks lined up at Fordo and leaving Fordo in the days preceding the strike. So a lot of questions, including the risk to American service members. In terms of, is there anything positive to come out of it? Yes. I mean, the destruction of these facilities is a positive in the sense that it will set back Iran's program. And look, this is a nefarious regime that is the preeminent state sponsor of terror. It should have never been pursuing a nuclear program. But it is very possible, and I think we have to anticipate, Iran now kicks out any inspectors. It leaves the non-proliferation treaty. And if it wasn't in a sprint for a bomb, it is now going to engage in a sprint for the bomb. So a lot of uncertainty. Finally, this was not constitutional, was not lawful in the absence of a declaration by Congress. And so the administration should have come to Congress. We will have a vote on a war powers resolution. But there's a reason to bring this to Congress, and it is you want the Congress bought in. You want the American people bought in on an action this substantial that could lead to a major outbreak of war.
So just to put a finer point on it, do you think the world is less safe this morning than it was yesterday?
I don't think, to be honest, Casey, there's any way for us to know. Anyone who says they can see into the future and what the Iranian response will be, whether it will claim American lives or whether there will be some change in the Iranian regime or new opening, a new opportunity, we simply don't know. We simply don't know. And I think because of that uncertainty, you don't want to take an action like this without a strong basis, that is, that Iran was imminently pursuing a bomb. And we simply don't have that intelligence, or if we do, it hasn't been shared with the Congress. And that last question asked of Hegseth at the press conference indicates he doesn't know either. He was asked, do we have some new intelligence? Is it our own intelligence? Or are we relying on Israeli intelligence for the conclusion that we had to take this strike now? And he simply said, well, the president looked at everything. That's really not an answer, but we will demand answers this week when we're briefed. In the absence of it, though, and not knowing what the future will bring and the consequences, this is an order that should not have been given.
So speaking of the constitutionality, legality of this, the reality, of course, Congress currently controlled by Republicans entirely. One of your congressional colleagues, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, wrote on the platform X last night that what the president did is, quote, absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. Given the limited tools available to Democrats in Congress, do you think impeachment is the right move here?
We've seen what a high bar there is to impeachment when one party in Congress, the Republican Party, is willing to work completely in lockstep with the president. I think the better remedy, frankly, is if Republicans will show any backbone whatsoever, is to pass a war powers resolution to prevent any further military action that is not purely defensive, that is designed to protect service members' lives, American lives, and our interests. That, to me, ought to be the most immediate step.
Senator, we, of course, have learned that Democrats on the Gang of Eight, that key group of top intelligence leaders in Congress, were not briefed ahead of these strikes while Republicans were. What is the significance of the failure to brief Democratic lawmakers?
Well, the failure to brief Democratic lawmakers, the making this just another partisan exercise by the administration when it comes to something as serious as the decision to potentially engage in warfare with another nation, it means that you're not going to have the whole country bought into this, which is a real problem. If everything goes well, then maybe it works out fine in the sense of not being an issue that tears apart the American people. But if things don't go well, if Iran retaliates, if we get in a escalating war with Iran, and you don't have the country bought in because the president didn't seek the approval of Congress, because he didn't make the case to the American people, because he didn't even inform one of the parties in Congress, that's when you have a real problem engaging in warfare on a partisan basis. So a lot of risks here for the country, which, is the reason why you come to Congress in the first place. It's the reason why our Constitution says Congress has the power to declare war, not the president.
Very briefly, sir, you mentioned the intelligence and what the president was using here. You have seen what our intelligence community is capable of. You also are aware of what some of our allies' capabilities are. Do you think the U.S. was relying on Israeli intelligence here? And if so, can we trust that intelligence?
Well, we're reading between the lines now because we haven't been briefed and won't be briefed until early this week. But judging from the evasive answers of the administration, judging from what the DNI said just a couple months ago, it certainly appears that the intelligence we have was that Iran had enriched uranium to a very high degree, was only days or maybe a week away from having the kind of material for multiple bombs, but that we saw no evidence that Iran had made the decision to build a bomb or was actually affirmatively building the mechanism, which takes time. So in the absence of that, you don't order a strike like this. You don't take the risk of a future that is beyond our visibility. So that's I think the flaw in this unilateral decision by the president to engage in this kind of warfare. I don't know what Israeli intelligence shows, and I don't know what sources they have and how reliable they are, but it doesn't appear that this was even the basis for that decision.
All right, Senator Adam Schiff, thanks very much for your time today, sir. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, up next, Iran vowed to retaliate against the U.S. if there was an attack. President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, joins me on what that might look like and much more.